Hi.
Welcome, everybody, to the stream of David. Welcome to the Taya group. Welcome to Claim Your Power Hour.
And welcome to YouTube if you're watching on YouTube.
And welcome to YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. That's always a good one. David, it's so good to be here. You're
It's
back
been a
in
few
the
weeks.
you're back in the screen again.
I am. I can speak mostly.
I know. I don't even have to think about that. No, I mean, we've just spent all weekend hanging out and having such a great time. And it's just, but we had to put him back in the box, as you can see. He's back in
Back
the
in my
box.
little cage here.
We put him back in his cage.
Yeah,
So,
I got out of the cage and went and met a bunch of people in person and channeled for 5 hours face to face.
yeah, I was there. It was
You're
absolutely
gonna have to talk about how it was though, because I've only heard stories. I haven't seen the footage and I don't remember it. So
how it was. It was next level, is what it was. Well, first off, I just want to I just want to congratulate David publicly here as we're sitting here because as you all know, you've been watching us on here for a minute. And David, all of these beautiful people that are in Taya, all these beautiful people were there. Getting to hug people, and Carrie was there, and Stacy and Elisha and Kat and Luke, Sam, Monica. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It was just unbelievable. Then to see people who are Taya Bootcamp graduates or just watching the podcast that show up, that watch the webcast or whatever, that was another awesome
yeah, that was.
experience.
Of course, I know all the boot campers that were there, so that was good to meet people in person that I've been working with or have worked with. And some of them I've known for years and haven't met in
Yeah.
person. And then the new people from the podcast, that was really cool. And of course, I didn't really meet them until after the channeling, until after the event when I did the book signing. Um, the channeling part of it though was what was so incredible. Um, just because we just went on such a vibrational journey in that space, and that's what I always seek to create with that. But it was even more than I thought it was going to be. So that was great.
Yeah, it was. It was, there was this Sam, such a darling young man. It was absolutely unbelievable. It was just great. It was amazing. And thank you, David, for pulling it all together, with the team. But I mean, just for having the vision years ago. It's one thing to talk about doing something, it's another to do it. And that's the exciting part about this, is it's something we've talked about for a long time. You've talked about for a long time. And now it's happening. And soon enough, it's going to be time for New York or New Jersey, whichever that's going to be.
Well, we're calling it New York, but I think it's probably going to be in New Jersey proper. But that will be in April.
Yep. I was asking John Fiore about that. We'll need to talk about that later. So Janine, she was there. Hi,
Yeah, I was
Janine.
going to say we got to meet Janine there, so she was
One
there.
of my okay, so that was like one of the cool. That was one of the coolest sessions because she was talking about her experiences with her clients and things like that that she has, and she's an end of life um, doula or coach or love, or I don't know, people like you, Janine, just have wings. And it was just beautiful to watch the interaction between her and the stream on this experience that she has, and the expansion on what is death. In fact, we had somebody else pop in, and uh she also asked that. But there were so many nuggets uh in this weekend. It was just amazing. My favorite were the people. Just getting to touch, hug, and be present with everybody was remarkable. I'm curious, you guys, since you're all here, we've got Stacy and Janine and Sam. Whoever's popping in that was there this weekend, can you please type into the chat what was your biggest takeaway? I'd really love to know. I'd love to know what your favorite part was, and we can expand on it as well. And those that were there this weekend, I would love for you also to put some questions into the chat, because as you know, whenever you've been around channeling around David, it takes a couple of days of integration. And since we've had a couple of days of integration, I think at this point, there's more questions that are definitely needing to be addressed. So if you guys can start typing that into the chat, we've got a good audience coming before David brings in the stream. So my request of everybody.
And if we have a topic tonight, we'll throw out the topic of health, but we can talk about anything. You can ask the stream about anything that you want, but health and wellness seems to be flowing around for everybody right now. And that came up a lot on the summit yesterday with Walt Thiessen. He held an abundance summit, and I participated in that. I think I was the last that closed down the whole thing. And the stream did, I should say, not me. Stream
I
closed
love
down
that.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there was some really good information on health. So we can talk about that if you want, or anything else. Any follow-up. I love the takeaways from the Ascension workshop. I love that idea. So please post those. I had a few for sure, but I want to hear what everybody else's are first. So maybe I'll share mine at the end if we have time.
I'm really liking this a lot. Luke, it was just so much fun to hug you, Luke. Can I even tell you? My favorite thing about Ascension was the stream in person and feeling the high vibe energy in person. Okay, I gotta say that was something that I really noticed with Luke too, is that you really soaked that energy in, and he talked about being able to tap into source energy so much easier just being in that presence. And of course, Stacy says more releasing of judgment and fears for every moment of our glorious lives. I love that. And Sam says, I feel like participating in the event on Saturday and spending time with Taya people the entire weekend kept the super vibes up all weekend. I left higher vibrational set points than I came in with. I think
the cool thing about it was it was supposed to be a 1-day, 5-hour event, and it turned into a 3-day conference.
Well, yeah,
most people came from out of town, which was really cool, which is why we held it at LAX or near LAX. And people came in on Friday, they hung out. They did things on Friday. We had the 5-hour event. Then people hung out that night. And then the next day, there were other things going on. So it almost turned into this conference, even though it was supposed to be a 1-day event. So
it was perfect, as always, just the way it should be. And I loved it. Luckily, I was only 45 minutes away. So I ran home, took a nap, came back, and then I came back the next evening. We stole David and Michael the next night. So
yeah, we went and had a nice dinner. Thank you again for that. That was lovely.
Oh my God, I love it.
Setting. Yeah.
I got to take him to Tantala.
And I wasn't myself. I was so wiped out. I didn't recover. I've never channeled for 5 hours straight before. And of course I was sick. I manifested illness all through December, as you all know, and I was getting over that. So I didn't physically recover from the event until probably Tuesday, because Sunday I was still wiped out. Monday we drove home. I live out, just a couple of hours from LAX. We drove home, and I just relaxed. I think I was on the sofa the rest of the day and the evening on Monday, just because I was just still wiped out from Saturday, actually. So, yeah.
I want to bring up Janine here. My biggest takeaway is that I've still been holding a victim vibe. And you enjoyed every high moment. I love that. And I love your vulnerability, talking about holding and any questions that you have today. That's an interesting one. I don't know anybody that hasn't ever held a victim vibe at some point. I catch myself going back to it, David. It's just that perfectly human moment of going back. And then it was amazing, Luke says.
Yep. Who are you asking? I'm going to the event. I know that.
I'm going to the event. Yes.
We're all going to be in New York together.
We're all going to be in New York, you guys, for sure. Absolutely.
New York in April. Metro New York in April. And then London in July. I'm looking at both.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're going to be busy, busy, busy. I'm excited. It's interesting, David, because I had an insane headache on Saturday. I mean, I'm talking like it was
event?
During the event. Yeah. I went up to Carrie's room finally and grabbed some Advil and I never have to take Advil. Just talking about health. I mean, it was just
Do you
Oh my
think we
God.
all, and I'm not throwing this out there, I'm asking, uh, we have to ask the stream, do we all level up vibrationally so much in that event that our bodies are adjusting to that? Because it seemed, I'm hearing that from people. I'm hearing that people are physically adjusting, um, and that could be a new vibration that we collectively created. The stream is not, I want to be clear, the stream isn't creating a vibration, we're creating the vibration, and the stream is part of it, and that high vibration brings the stream in. But if we're leveling up, we're leveling ourselves up. So when you give the power of intention to an experience like that, and you get into a collective, in a space with other
Yeah.
people that are looking to do that same thing, that's that super vibe thing that we talk about. That's very hard to explain, but people that have come to the summits, and now
Yeah.
especially the live event, I think that they experience that. And I'm just wondering if other people are sort of getting that, if their body is sort of having to adjust to a new vibration now.
Well, I
Because the
know.
interaction was great. I know I set an intention. I did a couple of intentional setting Taya exercises before the event to sort of walk through it in my mind of what my intention was for it. And it surpassed that. I know that. I know we had this sort of building. We did the guided meditation, and then we flowed into questions. We took a break, and then it seems like in that middle segment, the vibe just went way up. And I'm aware that there was laughter. I'm aware that there were tears in the whole room, and I'm aware of the perfection of how you came up and facilitated this closing of the event. And it wasn't pre-planned at all. It just happened. Debbie, we drew numbers. If you haven't been to one of our workshops, we've only had one. We draw numbers,
Yeah.
and that's how your turn comes up to come up and sit with the stream and ask anything that you want. And at the very, very end, they were telling me about this, that Debbie's number was drawn, but she wasn't in the room. And so she had to go last. And I'm aware that Debbie coming up and going last, I don't know what you asked, but I know that the closing of the event was facilitated just by a question.
Yeah, and that was an interesting experience for me, David, because I had left, came back, and Joe says, "Hey, you're going to be up next." I'm like, "Okay." And as I'm sitting there, and then as I'm sitting up on stage, I clearly get this message in my head that I am to lead the stream to the end of to close it.
Yeah, it was cool because I know that was not pre-planned. I didn't
Mm-mm.
have any pre-planning about whom was going to come
No.
up or when. I didn't even think about the numbers thing until like 3 a.m. the night before, and I got up at 3 a.m. and printed
Totally.
out all these little tickets.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. That was not part of the plan. It was, in fact, there was no plan. That's kind of the
Yeah,
great
there was a pre-paving, but again, what transpired just because of the intention and the consciousness in the room, what we created together was much more than what I imagined. So I can't wait for the footage. We're a few weeks away from getting all the footage from the event, but the whole thing was
Yeah.
filmed with 2 cameras. A lot of testimonials took place and things like that. So we will have a lot of clips and things to share. We'll also offer up, as we always do with the stream experience, our past events. You can go. We have a link somewhere where you can actually purchase and watch the recordings, and they're broken up into segments so that you can just watch them and come right back right where you left off and watch the next one, the next one, the next one in these sort of half hour, 45-minute segments. We're going to do that with this event as well. The cool thing is that Rome, our videographer and editor, we brought him over from the UK to film the event. He is going to be at all 4 events that we do this year, and he's creating a documentary about the stream. So at the end of this year, we'll have a full-blown documentary that includes people sharing their experiences from boot camp, and just lots of Q&A with the stream and highlights of all of that as well. So I'm very, very, very excited to see how that turns out. We won't see that until next year, but we're spending the whole year creating this, and we're doing it in LA, New York, London, and almost said in Rome. Rome's doing it. I would love to go back to Rome. I love Rome. But no, Sydney, Australia, if we can manage that with COVID and everything. But it looks like the UK, I heard today the UK is going back to pre-COVID, just no lockdown, no restrictions. It was exciting to hear that they're kind of getting back to uh,
Yep,
a more normal, quote unquote, way of life.
that's what I
Uh,
heard.
yeah, so I'm excited to see that. Anything is
I am
progress,
too.
a glimmer of hope that we're sort of moving out of all of that. I don't want to get into that, but you can get into it with the stream if you want. Anybody that wants to ask the stream anything, post your questions, and the stream will answer them in just a minute. We're going to bring them in. In fact, we should do that now, right?
We should.
We're
We should
18
do.
minutes in. We might as well do that.
I'm thinking that's good. Stacy, I want to bring up real quick though, because check this out. Stacy says she believes her fuses were blown wide open and she's restructuring her entire being, resting. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Very cool.
And uh-huh. Yeah, most definitely. I'm so glad you were there, Janine, and I'm glad that everybody was there. Y'all, I don't see any questions. Not a one. What am I supposed to do? Yeah, we'll just roll it.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the stream's not going to show up if there's no questions. I don't know. It's funny. There was a comment on the one that we did a week or so ago where it was just us talking about the event. Somebody commented on YouTube that David's very lovely, but we're not here to hear from David. We want to hear from the stream. I thought, you know what? I get it. I totally get it. Thanks for the feedback. I love that kind of feedback because I think people do want the stream.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
I personally think
yeah,
it's
they're
great.
here for the stream. They're here for the stream. So we have to remember that and give them what they want. So
All
without
right.
further ado, let's bring in the stream. Type some questions in though. They need to have some things to answer because Debbie knows it all. She doesn't have any questions left for the stream. She's been talking to them for 5 years.
I've been talking to them for 5 years, but I do know what the stream will say.
I'm
But
kidding.
here, I don't, actually, I love that because what this will do is this will force me to sit here quietly as the stream is talking and just feel into what I need to ask. Or you
Sure.
all can just ask something.
Well, if you all have watched this program before, now is the time that we're going to do a little meditation together, a little breath work, quiet your mind, set a powerful intention. Any intention is a powerful intention if you allow it to be, for the stream to come through and deliver a fantastic experience and the answers to your questions. Let's do it. We are here.
Wonderful. So we'll jump right in with a question. What is the best way to approach self-care before, during, and after a live event?
We will guide you, and we are aware of the conversation that transpired before we fully manifested. Before these events, the preparing for them physically and emotionally has great value because you're walking into something that is going to be far more powerful than your normal day-to-day experience. And it's perhaps going to be far more energetically powerful than anything you've ever experienced before. So we would guide you to be hydrated, to have some fuel in your body, and to sit quietly and do a little bit of meditative work, if you will, so that you're at or above neutral before you enter the space. And then when you enter the space, enter with the intention of receiving the type of journey that you are seeking, even if it is just best possible outcome, even if it is simply allowing source to guide you through a magical experience and allowing it to be just what it is. Set that type of intention and then move through the experience in great appreciation of everything that is transpiring, not looking for a specific manifestation, not looking for some supernatural zing of energy or occurrence happening around you, because very often when you're looking for something, you dip yourselves into that vibration of need, which tends to chase manifestations away on any topic. And this topic is no different. So to manifest this type of experience that many of you are sharing about, the intention coming in, having the broad intention of allowing it just to unfold magically for you without looking for anything specific. And then after the event, this is where many of your physical vehicles are feeling a bit sluggish and drained, because creating an event such as that in the collective consciousness is a bit of a drain on your physical vehicle, because your physical vehicle is not used to that level of high vibration, especially in a multi-hour prolonged period. So if you haven't properly prepared yourselves going in and done a little bit of self-care to sort of come down from it, then your physical vehicles indeed are going to feel fatigued and be more apt to manifest most likely minor aches and pains and sniffles and things of this nature. But it's simply your body adjusting to the new vibration that was experienced.
Wonderful. So there have been a lot of people faced with being ill lately, with a flu or, whatever it is that's going around, those types of things. So, and Luke was too. So when people are feeling sick and they do come down with a fever and flu and all of these things, what are the things they can do to help themselves heal through the process?
We will focus on the vibration rather than the specific steps of healthcare. The reason that we're focusing you on the vibration is because your belief system creates your reality. So if you've assigned yourself to a belief system that is a soothing mechanism, perhaps via family tradition or something of that nature, we are not going to guide you away from that. Because if you're already giving that power, then that is a healing mechanism for you. Understand that a healing mechanism, for one, is there is no one size fits all healing mechanism, because all healing begins with vibration, and then the actionable steps that you take from there in the high vibration of appreciation of those steps, those create healing for you, whatever those steps are. So whatever you believe and give power to is going to work for you when you are trusting it and believing it. When you are doing something out of frustration, or when you're doing something because you think you have to do it, that is what we often refer to as hammering. And when you pick up that hammer and start trying to force something that you're not vibrationally aligned with, you're not going to have the same outcome. So the settling into appreciation that your body is telling you that it needs rest. Very often, a minor illness is simply the body's way of letting you know that you need rest. You've manifested a period of rest for yourself. So appreciating that and allowing that rest, not moving into trying to plow through and do something that you believe that you're obligated to do, even though you're sick. If you feel tired, that means your body needs rest. And taking the steps that you believe will make you better. There is endless information and endless advice in your world regarding health and fitness and well-being and all of these things. That's because there is a person creating an idea that they make work for them through their belief system. And then in your world, it is not unusual for someone to take that idea and begin to market that, if you will, to other people or share it with other people. Because it works for one does not mean that it's going to work for all. And you have evidence of this all around you. You all have different paths when it comes to health and well-being, and you all have different paths when it comes to healing. There's one that can get sick and get over it very quickly with XYZ, and there's another that can get sick and use the same XYZ because they were inspired by this one, but yet their belief system is not completely aligned with it and not have the same outcome. Because everything is vibrational, everything is a manifestation. So you create all of this confusion by reading all of these blogs and books and things like this that create contradictory information for you. You get yourselves confused, you get frustrated, and the vibration drops on the topic. When all you needed to do in the first place was find what you felt alignment with and give it power. Believe it and trust it, and not try to pick up that hammer and facilitate a healing faster than your body is ready to allow.
Beautiful. So Janine says, I'm on the edge of the next level. How do we know when we have leveled up?
You know you've leveled up when you are judging and fearing less. That is a natural state of being when you have leveled your default vibration up. The triggers and the old reactions are not the same. You are not as easily triggered. You are not necessarily reacting negatively to things. Perhaps you're experiencing things that you at one time judged that now you're finding yourself not in so much judgment of. You are more allowing of the opinions and beliefs of others, even if they're contradictory to yours. And when your vibration was a bit lower, perhaps that was triggering for you. Perhaps you needed to argue your point. Perhaps you needed to be right about that topic. But the more you raise your default vibration, the more gray area you exist in vibrationally, meaning you are not as polarized as you raise your default vibration. That's how you know that you've leveled up. When your vibration drops, fear sets in, and then suddenly polarity is taking hold, and you are feeling the need to take a side, to have a more firm opinion, to be right about something. You are needing to judge others and their opinion and their beliefs. As you raise your vibration, you are more appreciative and allowing of all things. And so when you notice that in your reaction to your experiencing the earth environment, you know you've leveled up. And like most things, vibrational as all things are, very often you're leveling up and you're not even taking note in the process until you're pretty far down the path. And then you look back and realize that, wow, this thing that used to trigger me is not a trigger at all. Wow, this thing that I used to be so firm in my belief of isn't so important to me anymore. I'm not needing to go seek out information to justify my belief system anymore. I'm not needing to take sides. I'm not needing to dip into fear and judgment on these topics the way that I once did.
Beautiful. So what's really on my heart that I would love to expand on is the word disappointment. And disappointment for, it doesn't matter what it is, just disappointment, when we feel disappointment.
The disappointment is always going to be rooted in judgment, and we are continually guiding you out of judgment and fear. So when you need a specific outcome and it doesn't transpire, you find yourselves being disappointed because you placed pressure on a manifestation. It did not happen, and you're judging very often yourselves for not manifesting it. And that's where that disappointment comes in. When something is not manifesting, it's because you're not ready for it yet, and you can ready yourselves for it. It's not about the universe creating an experience for you. It is never that. The universe is not judging. So the universe is not delivering a set of expectations for your life journey. You are creating your life journey via your belief system. We often refer to this as your operating system. Your operating system is that set of beliefs that you established early on and tweak and tailor as you move through the human experience, and you move into a certain period of life very often where you come to understand that your belief system is no longer serving you. You have experienced enough of life that you have become a more sophisticated version of you, and realize that you need to change your belief system to catch up to your new desired reality. And when you start doing the work to do that, your lives really transform.
I love that. So the vibrational dust of self-worth. And, it's interesting. I know that myself, and I've talked to other people, and we'll say, it's about self-love. Oh, yeah, I love myself. Let's maybe take a deeper dive down into self-love, what that really means, and the judgment that we put on ourselves and not feeling worthy. How do we clear that?
We will take you all on a little journey. We want you to do sort of if you are so able, a meditation. We want you to close your eyes and breathe a bit through your nose. Relax into that breath a bit. And we want you to activate your imagination. Your imagination is your greatest creative tool. And you can create anything and everything via your imagination. We are going to guide you in this interaction to imagine yourselves as the eternal strands of consciousness that you truly are. You are not just an earth being. You are not just in your physical vehicle. You are eternal, and you are existing in a state of pure positive energy. And as that positive energy flows around, and you are in this state that you might describe as love, as appreciation, you are not experiencing judgment. You are not experiencing fear. It is very foreign to you in this space. We guide you to understand that this space is source. This loving, powerful, positive, bright, warm space that you are creating for yourselves is not something that only exists in your imagination. You are in this moment using your imagination to make the connection to something that is real. And understand that in your ability to do this, that you are a strand of source consciousness. You are as worthy as any being that is ever manifested in physical, of anything and everything, because you are the universe. We want you to feel that loving feeling of high appreciation. Appreciation is deep understanding. And all that you need to understand in this space is that you are worthy, you are love, you are eternal. This human experience that you are in temporarily is very much something that you wanted to experience, and very much something that could not possibly harm you in any way. The earth environment is something to be savored. The earth environment is a journey that you all wanted to experience from your source consciousness perspective. So we want you now to bring this source perspective, this loving light, back into your human consciousness and feel how relaxing, how clear, how free from need this feeling is. That is your source connection, and that is available to you at any moment. You can bookmark this even and revisit this feeling. This is a feeling of love for all that you are, for this is how we feel about you. And when you are feeling this way about you, when you are in agreement, you are at the very top of your vibrational spiral. You are so worthy of all that is. Regardless of what you've been told, regardless of what the matrix teaches you, regardless of what you have manifested in your paths, your worthiness is right in this moment. Now open your eyes. That is source. That is your source connection. You have it. It is always available. When you are feeling less than worthy, it is only because you are judging yourself or your experience against a human created matrix. A human created matrix that you can learn to detune, that you can move out of systematically, and you can learn to operate in that source connected space most of the time. And when you're not in that high vibrational source connected space, you can even learn to bring that source perspective of appreciation to your obstacles as they manifest, to your lower vibrational periods.
Thank you very much. So I want to visit some words that Janine had said earlier. And it was regarding how she found herself going down her spiral, going into victim. When she was there this weekend, that she was experiencing going into a space of more of a victim mentality. Why is it that we humans see things as a victim, as being a victim?
Because we refer to the operating system of humanity as the matrix, the very ego rooted, humanity rooted current operating system that has been developed in linear time over thousands of years. Your religions and governments and rules and customs and all these things are aspects of that. Understand that when you label someone a victim and tell them that it's not their fault in the matrix, it's a very soothing, comforting thing to hear that something unwanted was not your fault. You had no control over it. It was something that was thrust upon you. The contrast of that, and there's contrast on all topics because you are in a polarized environment, as all physical environments are. The contrast of that is that that robs you of your power to heal, because it is taking any responsibility for that manifestation away from you and placing it just on the transgressor. But when you are not accepting that you are vibrationally aligned with something and therefore manifested it, you are giving away all of your creative abilities, because the victim vibration is heavily tied to the fault vibration. And when you release the victim vibration, you also begin to detune and release the fault vibration. As you raise your default vibration, you are not so caught up in whose fault something is. You are not beating yourselves up as much, and certainly over time, not at all, over your negative manifestations. When you come to understand vibrational flow takes you up and down this virtual vibrational spiral all the time, and that creating unwanted things is part of your earthly journey, then it becomes not about fault or blame. And certainly, if there's no fault and there's no blame, there's no reason to be a victim. There's no healing power in labeling yourselves a victim over anything. But it's heavily laden in your operating system. So you all have it. There is this package of fear and judgment and fault and blame and victimhood that is all bundled up together and served up to all of you. And notice how those of you that are suffering more, and at times the time periods of your lives you have suffered more, it's because you were in fear and judgment, and you were comparing yourselves to others and things of that nature, and that created your suffering. But when you learn to detune fear and judgment, when you learn to reframe every aspect of your life and every aspect of your outside world to one of appreciation, and appreciation is not exactly the same thing as love or gratitude. Gratitude is certainly a high vibration. Love is certainly a high vibration. But the highest vibration is the vibration of source, that which we are and that which flows to all of you. And that high vibration of source is one of clarity. And clarity is deep understanding. And deep understanding is appreciation. So when you bring deep understanding to any topic, you can find a path to appreciation. And when you find the path to appreciation and understand that for many topics, it is indeed a path. It is not something you just suddenly arrive at, especially if you have had an event occur in your life, any type of transgressor, any person, circumstance, or event that you have been labeling bad or wrong or traumatic or damaging in some way, anything that you have been judging as evil in your world tends to stick around, tends to remanifest in different ways, and tends to drag your vibration down. So when you move through this idea of forgiveness, the vibration of forgiveness is beneficial. It is certainly a trip up the spiral because you are deciding to move on from something and more or less let the transgressor off the hook and just move on from it. That is the vibration of forgiveness. But the vibration of full-blown appreciation is even higher than that because you are digging into the vibration of what that transgressor was all about. And finding authentic appreciation for it, you begin to detune it. And when you detune it, you detune its power over you. It is no longer controlling you. It is no longer triggering you. It is no longer in your subconscious mind playing on a loop, manifesting things of like nature over and over and over again. Finding authentic appreciation, the detuning process of radical appreciation, is the most powerful thing that any human being can learn because it is the most transformative thing that lifts you out of the human created matrix where fear and judgment rule the day, where you're comparing yourselves in comparison to others, and very often feeling bad and lowering your vibration in the process.
That's wonderful. Will you describe that with the pyramid? When you're on the different spaces of being on the pyramid, when you're seeking to go to your top of your pyramid, I don't need to explain what I mean. You know it.
We will share the concept of the pyramid. We speak often of the vibrational spiral, and your vibrational spiral is unique to you as a strand of consciousness, as in your case as an individual, a human being. You all operate on this virtual vibrational spiral, and you're all aware of it. You are all very aware when you're in high vibration and when you are in less than that, and certainly when you're in low vibration. The pyramid is different than the spiral in that the pyramid is topical. So we can utilize the pyramid teachings for wealth. We can utilize the pyramid teachings for health, for overall happiness, for relationships. On any topic that is important to you, there is a pyramid on that topic. And the reason the pyramid is so powerful is because the pyramid is comprised of all of humanity. So in understanding where you are vibrationally, we understand that we're delivering some comparison, but knowing where you are in the pyramid, just like knowing where you are on the spiral, is valuable information. We are not guiding you to judge it. We are guiding you to have an awareness of it and how to move to a different area. The reason the comparison energy is useless is simply because there's no need to compare yourselves to where another is on their spiral or where the rest of humanity is on the pyramid, because you have the ability to move yourselves vibrationally anywhere you want on that pyramid simply with your mindset, your beliefs. You need no external tools whatsoever to begin evolving your mindset on a topic. So, for example, the topic of health, if there is a pyramid on the topic of health that comprises all of humanity, the beings at the top of the pyramid are the ones that view themselves as healthy, that appreciate the health experience of all other beings on the planet, even during a pandemic, that understand that their high vibration of excellent health and well-being, that even if a storm comes through and delivers an illness, that they are going to return to health, that they're going to return to well-being. That's what places them at the top of the spiral. It is not necessarily about always having perfect health and never getting sick and then judging yourselves if you have a spin out. Your human vehicles, your physical vehicles, are designed to have spinouts, are designed to experience illness. It's part of experiencing the earth environment. But certainly you're not all experiencing it at the same rate in the same way. But that is very much tied to how you react to the little things that you manifest. So you attend an event, your vibration goes higher than ever. You believe that you are now this untouchable supreme being from having such a magnificent interaction, and you walk out and suddenly you're not feeling as good. And then the next day you manifest an illness. And very often the first thing you may do is judge, wow, I invested this money and attended this event and had this high vibrational experience and it was so magical, and now I'm ill. What did I do wrong? As soon as you start thinking in terms of that and judging, you're moving down the pyramid. And of course, the beings that comprise the base of the pyramid are the beings that are constantly focused on bad health. They're always focused on how sick they are. They're always talking about how sick they are. They are terrified when they turn on the news. They believe they're going to get every illness, and they're rushing to the doctor, and they're popping pills, and they're doing all these things constantly because they live in such fear around health. That is the base of the wellness pyramid. The top of the wellness pyramid is certainly allowing health experiences and allowing your human journey, which does not mean perfection, but appreciating it and trusting the abundance that well-being will always return, and that every spin out, every low vibrational period has gifts to offer. There are things available in any spin out, in any low vibrational period, that advance your being, that make you a more sophisticated version of you. You can manifest cancer and have a life-changing journey having had cancer. The bookshelves are full of books about scenarios such as that. And the ones that we would guide you to are the ones that focused on how they appreciated the experience and how they appreciated their way through the experience, not necessarily how I battled it and beat it. Because if you are demonizing it as our promise to you, it's not completely out of your vibration. Anything that you demonize, you are giving life to. Anything, at any time. So the demonization is always the base of the pyramid. And anything between demonization and full-blown appreciation is going to place you somewhere in the middle. So full-blown appreciation is the apex of the pyramid, always, on any topic. If you want to manifest more money and you're complaining about the unfairness of the financial system, you are moving yourselves down the pyramid. That's the base where most of humanity resides, complaining. But notice the ones at the top of the pyramid love the financial system. And as our promise to you, they're at the top of the pyramid because they love the financial system. Even if they're broke, they're at the top of the pyramid. They're not going to stay broke. Financial abundance is going to rain down on them as long as they stay at the top of that pyramid in appreciation. You've likely heard stories of successful people who have a spin out financially and go broke. And then in a couple of years, they're back at the top of the pyramid financially again. Vibrationally, they never left the top of the pyramid to be able to do that. They stayed in that high vibration of appreciation on the topic, even during the spin out, because the spin outs are created via vibrational flow. You're not going to solve that. That is the purpose of being in physical, always. You're not going to adopt a practice or learn a set of teachings that's going to move you out of the human experience, the physical experience of operating in vibrational flow, this fluctuation of vibration that you're all well aware of. You're not here for that, but you absolutely can move to full-blown appreciation of the process of creation, which includes high and low, and you can trust your abundance regardless of where you are on the spiral. You move down the spiral, you're trusting your abundance, you're appreciating the process, you're meeting your obstacles in joy, you're going right back up your spiral, you operate your lives like that, and you're at the top of the pyramid. And it is indeed possible for you, any of you, to be at the top of the pyramid on every single topic. And understand that you move yourselves to the top of the pyramid through appreciation on health, relationships, wealth, joy, abundance, clarity, travel, whatever it is that your version of abundance is. We are not judging any of it. You are all here free to discern your preferences without judgment from the energetic realm, from the universe, from us. We are all the same. There is no judgment whatsoever. Your preferences are just that. But you are capable of placing yourselves at the top of that pyramid at all times and not judging your spinouts, and understanding that you will become more abundant in all of those areas if you keep yourselves at the top of the pyramid. And the top of the pyramid is appreciation.
Wow. Wow. That that was amazing. So we have a viewer that would like some expansion on the new earth.
The concept of new earth, the earth environment is not broken. The earth environment is not damaged. The earth environment is not heading downhill. The vibration of new earth is the vibration of humanity moving out of the matrix. You are all becoming aware of this human created matrix that you operate in. You are all becoming aware of the fear and judgment and all of the things that tend to control humanity by and large. And in your awareness of that, you're questioning it. And understand that those of you that are questioning it and still appreciating the matrix are moving to the top of the pyramid. The top of the pyramid is your own creation of what you may well identify as New Earth. New Earth is available to all of humanity. New Earth is moving from a 3D perspective to something beyond, however you wish to label that. These are all human created terms. New Earth, 3D, 5D, 12D, all of these things are terms that you all create to better understand or explain the energetic realm. But when you are collectively raising your vibration out of fear and judgment, you become powerful creators. There is no encumbrance that can possibly impact you when you are allowing yourselves mentally and ultimately vibrationally, because your mind can change your vibration, to that of appreciation. So you're not going to move out of the matrix by demonize it. We speak of the matrix often. We speak of how your leaders utilize the matrix and utilize fear to control you. It's important to understand that when we offer that clarity up, we are guiding you away from bothering to demonize that, because the demonization of it places you right back in the matrix and gives the power back to the ones that you're demonizing. Appreciate them. They're utilizing the matrix that exists. They understand it. They're at the top of the pyramid of appreciation of controlling humanity. But you don't have to be controlled by them. You can appreciate them, and you can create distance between yourselves and the matrix in your appreciation of them. This is very foreign. This is very in opposition to how the matrix operates. The matrix would be, you've got to fight that. You've got to battle that. You've got to overcome it. You've got to tax the rich, and you've got to upend government, and you've got to destroy the tyranny and all of these ideas. How long has humanity talked about doing that and not accomplished it, and only seen more? Because the demonization of it is what's creating it and giving it power. So be at the top of the pyramid in high appreciation of the system that is, understanding that your appreciation of the system that is, your detuning of judgment of it, and you're no longer needing other beings to have an experience that feeds your ego because it's in alignment with what you want. When you move away from that, then you are moving out of what we would label 3D. You are moving out of the matrix when you're detuning fear and judgment systematically.
Wonderful. So we're coming to the top of the hour. So just the last message for everybody that they need to hear for tonight.
We generally close a session such as this, where we have gone very deep into multiple topics, with the guidance to watch it back a few times. If you have manifested your path here to view and partake this, watch it again and again and again, and understand that there are so many layers in what you all extracted from us via David in this interaction, that there are so many gold nuggets that you can literally transform your vibration and thus transform your lives just with the information that was shared in this time. With much love, that is what we have.
Welcome back. That was good, Sam. I totally agree. Yeah, Janine, for sure. My high vibe realization. I need to realize this vibration because I'm leveling up and clearing the dust. Totally. Yeah, I agree, Stacy. Wow. Cheryl says that was an aha moment for me. You can question and appreciate at the same time and still be at the top of the pyramid. Thank you for that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I am so I'm reading a couple of health books right now. I'm really making health a big focus for the year. Um, and there's a book out about the pandemic and what really transpired and how the drug companies. It would be very easy to read that book and start judging and labeling and demonizing. I'm not going to get into it in here, but it'd be very, very easy to go into that.
Yeah.
I am absorbing this information without judgment, but being informed is powerful nonetheless. Just knowing what's going on without getting down in that low vibration of judgment and fear that a book like that could inspire. So it's okay to be informed. Just don't allow that information to sink you down into low vibration and cause you to start demonizing. That's so wrong. It's so unjust. It's so unfair. When I detuned the need for justice, that was highly transformative for me. I do not need justice. Justice is not something I was very triggered about a year ago around something that I thought needed justice. And I didn't like being triggered that way. I'm not used to it anymore. And I really explored it in meditation and realized, wow, the whole concept of justice is very 3D, very, very 3D. It's something that karma is law of attraction. And I do believe the universe takes care of itself. And when you're putting something negative out, that's just going to come right back to you. So we don't need to assert justice the way that we believe that we do. We just don't. I mean, I understand justice very well, but I'm not triggered by the idea of it anymore, the concept of it anymore. And that's so freeing to not be triggered by the concept of justice.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Not to have to see somebody hurt because of a decision that they made, because that's what their experience is. Well, the stream's always saying it's the experience. We're just here to have an experience. It's not good or bad or indifferent. It just is an experience. So, well, that was awesome, you guys. And it was just amazing, as always. David, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you haven't joined the Taya group on the Taya Practice group on Facebook, please do so. Here's the linky poo right here. Okay. And also, you can go ahead and go visit thestreamofdavid.com/Taya to learn more about the diving deep into the practice of Taya, which is trust your abundance if you're new here. Okay. But the first thing you want to do is go join the Taya Practice group. It's free. And in there, you're going to get lots of support and be able to watch all of the previous videos that we've done. And there's hundreds. So you can just have a field day with that.
Yeah, there's 4 years we've had this group now, and you know I've been doing this for about 4 years. There's 4 years worth of channeling from the stream available.
Awesome.
And wherever you're watching. Anywhere you're watching right now, there's 4 years worth of video footage of the stream channeling. All right. Thank you all so much. I'm kind of coming back to now. Thank you all so much for joining. Lots of familiar names and a few new ones. So it was great seeing everybody once again. Debbie, always amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. Peace out. I expect you guys to be screaming happy birthday to me tomorrow, by the way.
Tomorrow's your birthday?
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Start the celebration now.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
I am. I started that celebration
Wait, you're turning 54?
I am.
So you're like a month older than me.
Right. Then you and Joseph.
I turn 54 next month.
I know you do.
And that means your friend Josie does as well, because we have 1 day apart, right? Birthdays.
Yeah, we are 1 day apart. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna be having fun this coming next few weeks. All right, everybody. Love you.
Have a great birthday, and thank you all for watching.